What's up, guys? Welcome to the Saladino Show. I'm your host, Joseph Saladino. And real quick, before I get into it, you guys might know me from the Joey Salads channel. But a lot of you that hate me, I addressed this in a previous video. If you hate me, don't let your preconceived notion of me based off of the Joey Salads videos make you hate this show. This show is totally separate, has nothing to do with that. I'm not going to even talk about my videos or bring up my videos. I know there's a lot of bad press there, but at least give this show a chance. This is an opinionated show, a right-sided opinionated show, and I'm just going to be going through stuff that I see on the internet and talking about them and giving my opinion on some of this stuff and opinion on some life experiences. This show, if you hate me, don't let this bring you down on the right side broadcasting. Don't let it make you hate them. We're trying something new here. A lot of positive feedback from a lot of people that once were haters of me, liking what I have to say. So if you're one of the haters, at least give it a chance. If not, just watch a different show on this channel. So we're going to get right into it right now. And I want to start off saying that I was in Utah at the Sundance Film Festival. And I just wanted to explain to you guys this personal story that happened about, because I was purposely walking around with a Trump hat on because I wanted to piss people off because go Trump. And it was liberal fest, hardcore liberal fest. Everybody had something to say to me. Whenever politics was brought up, somebody had a smirky remark. They had to say something negative about Trump. And I was getting double teamed by two liberals who wouldn't let me talk. And one of the things that they talked about was the minimum wage. One of them was a banker, the other one was a movie producer. They were both very nice at the end. They gave me their business cards. They respected the debate. They respected the discussion, which is great. That's what I like. I don't like when you're in a debate with somebody and they get actually angry and super angry towards you and then they hate you forever. That's not how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be a civil discussion, and afterwards you can shake hands, exchange cards, or whatever. That's how it should be. But one of the guys that was a banker, he was telling me on how minimum wage and higher taxes can benefit the economy. And he was saying, he bringing up, he didn't even make any valid points. All that he kept on saying was, and the lady that he was with, they was saying is, how is someone supposed to survive off a $15 minimum wage? You raise the minimum wage, it's more money for them. You raise taxes, it's more money that goes back to the people. And I'm like, listen, I'm a business owner. I own a grilled cheese stand in a mall, and we plan on opening more. I'm planning on expanding my business rapidly. And I can do that if there was less taxes. I can do that if the overhead was less, if the minimum wage was lower. And they're like, well, it wouldn't be that much lower for you to expand. I'm like, yeah, it would. I go, you want to increase taxes by twofold and increase minimum wage twofold. I go, do you understand how that affects the economy? They're like, well, it's going to have more people making a livable wage. I'm like, there's going to be less people making a livable wage because this is what's going to happen. And I used a hypothetical example. I'm like, say my grilled cheese kiosk is making $1,000 a week. And it costs $500 for employees, another $200 for food, another $100 for miscellaneous bills. Let's say minimum wage goes up to double. It doubles to $15. Now my payroll goes from $200. I'm sorry, the payroll was $500, I said. So say the payroll goes from $500 to $1,000. Now I'm already in the negatives because our costs, our bills exceed our sales. So now what do I have to do? Raise my prices. So now I raise my prices accordingly. A $6 grilled cheese now costs $12. But now the people we get the food from are having the same problem. So now they have to raise their prices. So instead of $200 a week on food, now we're spending $300, $400 a week on food to get the same amount of food. because their prices increased because the minimum wage increased. Now, also, electricity increases, rent increases, because they have to supply the minimum wage. They need to adjust their prices accordingly. So what happens? It causes inflation. And if you're going to add higher taxes onto that, I can't expand my business. We're barely making it. We wouldn't be able to survive that inflation. The only people that can survive that inflation period are big multi-billion-dollar corporations, where if $15 was the minimum wage, they can be able to hold out and survive until the inflation keeps up and the prices of everything goes up. It's going to take a while to survive that period, and that's when the small businesses will go out of business. And that's when I wouldn't be able to expand. And they couldn't understand that. There was something that didn't click in their head that didn't understand that. And all that they said was deregulation leads to economic collapse. In what world does regulation, stricter regulations, more taxes, higher minimum wage, in what world does that increase the economy? It doesn't. It lowers jobs. There's going to be cuts. There's going to be hourly cuts. There's going to be increased prices across the board with everything. It's just going to devalue the money you have saved. And then they started talking about how they're like, well, Trump wants to get rid of the estate tax. And I go, why should there even be an estate tax? Just because someone dies, most of their money has to go to the government? That's ridiculous. It's like, well, it's to get back the money from all the greedy rich people. I go, listen, I'm going to work my entire life to provide for my family, for their future, and for the future generations of my family. If I make $100 million plus, I want that money to go for generations to come in my family to take care of them. I go, I don't want that money going to the government just because I died. That's the money I worked hard for. That's the exchanges that I made, voluntary exchanges with the public that I made to get that money. Why should it go to the government? Does it make any sense at all? It's just a way to get money back from the rich. And these multi-billionaires and these 100 millionaires, they know how to avoid these taxes. They send their money overseas, or they I know there's a way that they could buy stuff and give it to their family. There's ways they get around it anyway. But for the most part, when it's the smaller millionaires, they're the ones that get really screwed. Totally useless tax. I don't know what they got nowhere. They gave no examples. They gave no logical explanation. Nothing. All they did was explain to them how inflation works and how business works. One was a banker, and I could think that he would know how that shit works. Going on. One of the ladies, she also talked about how she supported abortion and how she had an abortion and how abortion is not murder. And I used a little bit of the Ben Shapiro argument with the magical vaginal canal. I go, so once the baby's here, it's not a life. You can stab it with a fork and kill it. She's like, yep. I go, but once it passes through that magical vaginal canal, it's now, you can't kill it. She's like, yep. I go, what makes your vagina magical in that sense? She's like, well, it's magical in that sense. I go, explain to me what makes it going from here to here make it any more of a human life or any less of a human life if it didn't. And she couldn't answer that. She just said, well, because it's in my body, it's my body, my choice. I go, it's not your body. It has a different blood type than you. It has a brain function. It's got a nervous system. It's got organs. It's got an arm. It's got legs. It can hear noises. It feels pain. I go, it's a human life inside of you. And she's like, well, when I had my abortion, I'm like, and she had her 16, 17-year-old daughter sitting on the same chair as her. I go, do you ever look at your daughter and say, I could have just had you aborted and killed. She's here today because you didn't do that. I go, do you ever look at her and think that? And I said that in front of her, and next to the mom. And she's like, no. I'm like, did you ever feel any pain after that abortion? She's like, yes. I'm like, you felt guilty that you did the abortion. She's like, yeah. I'm like, then how can you still feel the abortion? How can you still support abortion? She felt the pain of murder, but still supports abortion. It doesn't make any sense. I know plenty of women had abortion, and they all live their life with regret because they know they once they go through it, they realize what they've done, and they feel the pain of murder. I'm sure there's many women that people know who are watching this who can say the same exact thing. And then she went on to tell me how she's vegan and how animals are tortured for our consumption. And I go, why won't you eat chicken? She's like, oh, because they breed them and they throw them through a grinder to make our chicken nuggets. And I'm like, but you support abortion, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what's the difference between throwing chicken in a grinder, why you won't eat it, but you support stabbing a suction tube in the back of a baby's neck and sucking its brains out and removing it piece by piece? You support that, but you won't eat a chicken nugget because of the way they kill their chickens. I go, you do not see the hypocrisy in that. And I go, do you eat eggs? She's like, no, because that's a chicken. I'm like, do you not see the hypocrisy in what you're saying? That you support abortion, but won't eat eggs or won't eat chicken because it's too brutal. And then she's like, well, civilization, we've all evolved to the point where we can all survive off veganism. I go, no. I go, the reason why we breed these animals for human consumption, it's either we eat animals, we're higher in the food chain as them, we're the apex predator. What's the difference between throwing a chicken in a grinder and a wolf ripping the skin off of its prey? A lion grabbing the claws on the back of a zebra, just ripping its flesh off and then eating it while it's still alive. I go, Mother Nature is violent. And what we do is, in some ways, if you look at it, slightly more humane because it's done quicker. If you just throw it, of course they're bred, just to be killed and murdered. But let's say you have a pig, right? It's born, it's just fed till it's massively fat, and then thrown in a grinder. Life's over in seconds, unless if it's one of those places that torture and beat them that you probably see on the internet, but that's probably pretty anecdotal or in different countries. But the fact is, it's either we eat these animals or we face mass hunger and starvation as a civilization. There's a reason why they're there. These animals are genetically evolved for our consumption. They're better for consumption. We're not gonna go and eat animals that aren't good for consumption. We're not gonna go eat raccoons. There's no meat there. We're gonna eat a chicken. We're gonna eat a cow. We're gonna eat a pig. And then, during this whole debate, she kept talking about, well, how old are you? I go, I'm 23. She's like, well, she thinks she was in her 50s. I have more experience than you. So you're wrong. I'm like, experience? I go, what does that have to do with anything? I could do my research of history. Why do I have to live through it? I go, just because you're older means that you now automatically know more just because you're older. I'm like, okay. You were around during the dawn of computer technology, correct? And the internet. She's like, yep. I go, can you teach me how to program a website? I go, I know how to program a website. Do you? Can you teach me how to edit a video and post it and market to social media audience? Can you teach me any of that? She's like, oh, well, I don't really know that. I'm like, well, you were around during the dawn of the computer age. I wasn't. I was a baby. But you were around, so you should know that, right? She's like, no, it's different. It's different. I go, it's not different. I go, you can talk to someone who's 60 years old who knows nothing about politics. And you can talk to an 18-year-old who knows 10 times more about politics. Age doesn't always make the deciding difference of your intelligence. It's your research that you do. It's your understanding of life. That's what makes a difference. But enough about what happened at Sundance, Super Liberal Fest. I'm going to talk about Trump and the wall in Mexico. You can see all over the liberal news, they're all having a field day about how the Mexican president says, we will not pay for the wall, but Trump keeps on saying, oh, you're going to pay for the wall. And, the Mexican president and the liberal news is like, well, I guess American taxpayers are going to have to pay for the wall. If you do not understand what Trump means by having Mexico pay for the wall, he doesn't mean that they're going to just write him a check for the wall. What he means is, we're going to use that wall to pay for the wall. But what Trump means with the wall is that he's going to use it to pay for the wall. So he's going to put taxes on Mexico. He's going to probably charge people to cross the wall. And it's probably paid off in no time, the amount of traffic and trade that goes on. So he's going to use that he's going to kind of like run America almost like a business to other countries, which is kind of good and bad at the same time. So Mexico will pay for that wall. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen all at once, but they will pay for that wall. And the Mexican government doesn't like that because they've been really feeding off of America for so long now that their economy is completely based off of America, and they'll rather die fighting for their right to mooch off of us than actually compromise. That's what Mexico's come down to. Your country's run like shit, Mexico. That's why they're all coming here. Face the facts. Get on board or you're screwed. It's as simple as that. But now, I pulled up a bunch of stuff that I've seen on the internet. This one's posted by the other 98%. And there's a post that they posted. What the F is wrong with America, with Americans who aren't on board with free healthcare? I'm Canadian and I don't care to pay extra taxes so a little boy in Alberta can have open heart surgery, or an elderly man in Nova Scotia can get a heart medication he desperately needs. It's called taking care of your people. I'm glad I pay so that people can have a good quality of life. It's called being a decent effing human being. All right. Not only does Canada have the worst healthcare system, one of the worst healthcare systems in the world, but she believes that her tax dollars will go directly to helping people. If you're such a decent human being, why are you forcing other people to pay for stuff? I go, if you're such a decent human being, do it on your own. Pay for it yourself out of pocket, not through taxes. Pay for it yourself. And I'm sorry to break the news to you, honey, but those your tax dollars also go to war, also go to killing other people. It also goes to a corrupt government. It goes to the pockets of the people that the politicians have paid off. It's probably going to Saudi Arabia, a place where very brutal country. That's what's happening with your taxes. You have so much trust in your government that you're just gonna you're gonna happily give your money to the government because you know it's going to something good. Well, you're wrong, because 99% of your tax dollars go to something that's not good, go to bad stuff. And that's just the mentality that liberals have. They work off of their emotion and their heart. They're like, I gotta do something good. Do it on your own time. Donate to charity. Start a charity. You don't need to force the rest of your country or enact those principles on the rest of your country because you believe that the government is that kind-hearted to feed everybody and to take care of everybody, because it's not. The more power you give the government, the more evil it becomes. And this is a tweet, a post. I think it's real. I'm pretty sure it's real. It's posted on Anti-Feminazi. It was our favorite white guy tweeted, Donald Trump just announced his final cabinet selection. 13 of his 16 cabinet members are white men. America, 2017, despicable. I'm pretty sure this is real because this is something that he would say. But even if it's not, we're gonna even talk about it. So, our favorite white guy here hates that there are so many white guys in the cabinet. It's not diverse enough. There's not enough colored people. You not see a problem with that? Trump is hiring people based off of their qualifications and how good they are at doing a job, not based off their color. If he hired 99% white people, then those 99% white people just so happen to be more qualified than the other minorities that may have applied for the job. Kind of like affirmative action. The problem with affirmative action is it requires businesses and government-run businesses to hire people based off of their race and gender, not based off of their qualifications or their experience. And that's where it becomes a problem. That's where when you seek nothing but color. I believe every job should be just given to the person who meets the qualifications and the skills to get the job, not based off their race, religion, or color, anything else. It should just be based off of your qualifications. End of story. And when you see color like this is actually pretty racist. This is the definition of racist. The fact that you have to hire someone based off of their color. Now, I'm going to play this video about the California government on immigrants. posted by AJ+, the leading source of anti-American propaganda.
We will defend everybody, every man, woman, and child who's come here for a better life and has contributed to the well-being of our state.
Don't you just love that music? That music. Like, yeah, we got someone fighting for us. Yeah. Immigrant power.
In California, immigrants are an integral part of who we are and what we become. Familiar signposts of our democracy, truth, civility, working together, have been obscured or even swept aside. We must prepare for very uncertain times and reaffirm the basic principles that have made California the great exception that it is.
He's talking about defending the immigrants in his state, implying that Trump is going to deport all the immigrants living in his state. You're wrong, Governor. You're wrong. Trump wants to get rid of illegals, not immigrants, illegal immigrants. That's the big difference. Trump, his whole video is implying that this new administration is going to come in and attack your rights as immigrants. Wrong. If you're an illegal immigrant, tough shit. Sorry, things might get a little rough for you, but that's kind of like what you had coming for you. Follow the law illegally. If you're a legal immigrant, you're fine. You're fine. You're not being attacked. This is immigrants. California governor has your back. So does Trump, as long as you're legal. End of story. It's the end of story. If you're illegal, then our government should not have your back because you're a felon. You're a criminal. You should not. You're not part of this country if you're illegal. It's as simple as that. You need to become part of the country. And that's when the government will have your back. And I got this tweet by Bernie Sanders bringing up some fake news related stuff. Bernie Sanders tweeted, President Trump said that the other day that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally in this election. That's delusional. An alternative fact. You know what else is not delusional, Bernie? The fact that Hillary Clinton stole the election from you. If you don't think that woman who stole the election from you is also capable of attempting to steal the election from Trump, then you're delusional. There's tons of evidence to back up that Hillary Clinton potentially could have tried to rob the election from Trump. Especially when you see that she can't even fill out bleachers when she talks to her fans, and Trump's filling out stadiums. No one wanted to vote for Hillary, but a lot of people wanted to vote for Trump. And Bernie, this just proves that you are a sellout. You are a sellout to the establishment. You're a millionaire now, and you lie to your people, the people that loved you and supported you. You still act like you're fighting for the people, but you're using them. You're delusional. You're absolutely delusional, Bernie. You're defending a woman who stole the election from you, who attempted to steal the election from someone else. I cannot tell if you're just a sellout or that stupid. End of story. I would love to see Bernie debate Ben Shapiro or any conservative that knows their shit. Last thing of the day, it's a funny picture. Is a blimp holding up a sign saying, "My menstrual blood will flow through the streets fighting for women of all genders." That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. This is for women of all genders. What? Honestly, I don't even know what to say about this one. Besides, it's disgusting and delusional. My menstrual blood will flow through the streets, fighting for women of all genders. I'm going to end the show here, and I want you to think about that. All right? I want you to think about what you just said and how disgusting and delusional what you just said was. And comment below what you think about that. And that's all I have to say. The show's over. Follow me on Twitter at Joey Salads. Be sure to subscribe to Right Side Broadcasting and turn the notifications on. My show will be every Friday, I believe. And tweet me some delusional stuff you see from the left to my Twitter, Joey Salads, and so I could have some content for the show. And that's about it. I'm Joseph Saladino, and thank you for watching.